Assalomu alaykum qadrli YouTube tomoshabinlari. Mana Dubay shahrida Osiyo Chempionatining final jangini sizlarga jonli efirda namoyish etmoqdamiz. Do'stlar, yangi kirib kelgan aka-ukalarimiz bitta like bosib qo'yamiz, qo'llab-quvvatlab turamiz. Kommentariyaga omad, olg'a O'zbekiston deb qo'yamiz, bolalar.
I remember seeing Yusupov in the Asian Oceanian qualifier for Rio, and he was at 64 kgs at that point. He was young, 19, 20 years old, youth world champ, youth Olympic champ, and I remember thinking how good he looked. And when he was drawn against Pat McCormack in the prelims, I thought that was a real slippery bar of soap for McCormack, but McCormack managed to get the win. He's moved up to welter now, Yusupov.
Yeah, now that was only just a win, wasn't it? He was pretty competitive between them, a split decision. It was as well some 5 years ago. And Yusupov looking to take his career even further here. In the blue, Batturov in the red. Nice, strong, straight right hand there from Batturov.
Both of these two are qualified for those Olympic Games. Welterweight's always one of the kind of showpiece divisions, you would say. Some real big names, 69 kilos.
Akalar, qani bitta like bosib qo'yamiz. Boshqa akalarimiz ham promo efirga kirishsin. Siz like bossangiz ularga ham xabar boradi. O'sha Shimbola TVda promo efir bo'lyapti deb. Qani bitta like bosamiz akalar. 100dan ziyod odam ko'ryapti, lekin like'larimiz soni juda ham kam. Bitta like adishusini bosamiz, like'larni keyin bemalol tomosha qilamiz do'stlar.
Of Yusupov could have done without that as the heads came close together. Otherwise, it's been quite a composed start from him, but it is getting a little bit rough inside. And I think the referee has spotted it now, Andy. We'll get a chance to see how quite how bad or otherwise that is.
Just on the inside of the... Well, just that kind of jagged Harry Potter type of cut, isn't it? Just above the eyebrow there on the inside, not far away from the inside of the bridge of the nose. It's not a great spot, that, is it? Because that could run down into the eye.
No, looks uncomfortable. A lovely 1-2-3 there, the counter off the back foot there by Yusupov. That was quality boxing, and he's been trying to time Batturov on the way in. Again, in that exchange, a little smear of blood. I don't think it's necessarily fight ending. It's just something they are going to look at. But the gash has just got a little bit wider, I think, from last time we saw it.
It's just where it is, isn't it? That's the problem. That's the problem. And the gloves are coming off, I think.
Oh, no. That is a real shame, because that was shaping up beautifully, and I liked the way that Yusupov was going about it. He was just sitting on the back foot, then he was just taking that little half step, and just in between the two doctor inspections, he landed a three-punch combination employing exactly those tactics, and I was thinking, right, okay, now we know what he's trying to do. It's a shame.
Do'stlar, hozir sudyalarning natijasini eshitamiz.
Given the corner a chance to work on that, but the doctor made the call.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner by split decision in the red corner representing Uzbekistan.
Malades, 4-chi oltinni qo'lga kiritdik do'stlar. Barchani g'alaba bilan tabriklayman. Xudo xohlasa yana bokschilarimiz bor. 120 odam tomosha qilyapti ekan. Bitta like ni bosib qo'yamiz akalar. Hozir endi esa ringga ko'tariladigan Saidjamshid Jafarov ringga ko'tariladi. Undan keyin esa Dilshodbek Ro'zimetov ringga ko'tariladi va Bahodir Jalolov oxirgida ringga ko'tariladi do'stlar. Hammasini sizlarga jonli efirda namoyish etishga harakat qilamiz do'stlar. Sizlar faqat bizni qo'llab-quvvatlab turasizlar degan umiddamiz.
Bulgaria, Ireland and Philippines.
Ha akalar, bu jonli efir, kommentariyada jonli efirmi deb so'rabsizlar. Bu jonli efirda namoyish etmoqdamiz do'stlar.
Tokyo, he beat the number 2 seed, Said Shaheen Musavi of Iran, in the semi-finals. And this should be a really entertaining fight between these two. It's hard to see this one not delivering.
Yeah, looking forward to this, Andy. I think it's fair to say they've both earned their stripes en route to this final, taking out seeds who were ahead of them in the pecking order. So really good one. Both relatively young men. You'd say Aman Kul on paper with a better resume. He's been in with some really good fighters. You mentioned Kizhniak, who back in 2017 was just on a right good roll. He was terrorising everybody at that time. So no disgrace there in losing that World Championship final in Hamburg. So he just, I think, the man in blue have the slightly better read here. But we'll see.
You look at the back there on Said Jamshid Jafarov. He is solidly built. You get some real units of 75 kilos. I've always wondered how on earth Arlen Lopez managed to squeeze it all into 75 kilos. That was a really tight, good fight they had, Amankul and Lopez, in the World Championships in 2017. At that stage, the Cuban was world champion, Olympic champion, very much the man to beat. So that was a huge win for a very young Amankul at that point. He's still only 23.
And he's the elder statesman, just and only just. So this is two fighters who've already achieved plenty with decent records, but the future's pretty bright too.
Well, this is Amankul's 249th fight, which is amazing, really, when you consider the age of the year. So midway through round one, leading off with that right hand. He does like to do that, the fighter in blue. Just reaching in behind his left a little bit there, Jafarov. I mentioned Israel Madrimov as well. He was a real force in that middleweight division before he turned over pro. He did actually go to the Asian Championships in 2019, Madrimov, along with Jalalov, but he got knocked out at the quarter-final stage, and that kind of brought things to an end for him in an Uzbek vest. Nice 1-2 from Amankul. Got home down the middle.
Oh, the competition's so stiff. I mean, you know, Andy, if you win a national championship for Kazakhstan, you're one of the best in the world. Make no mistake. And it's the same for Uzbekistan as well. And he only lost once in WSB as well, didn't he, Amankul? And that was to Arlen Lopez, who you mentioned before. Lopez, probably my favourite elite fighter of the last decade. I'd probably have to say, terrific talent, the Cuban.
Closing stages of round one. Nicely timed left hand there from Amankul as Jafarov came forward just slightly clumsily. Just falling short with the 1-2 there. Jafarov, bell goes at the end of the first round. Amankul in blue of Kazakhstan makes his way back to the corner. Jafarov of Uzbekistan, he's in the red.
Just felt that the difference between them in that round was twofold, Andy. One, that Amankul seemed to be doing much of what he wanted to do, and Jalolov was maybe reactive, and the other thing was the defence. He was just getting out of range. Amankul. He was making Jalolov miss, and I thought those.
So 1 round down, 75 kilos.
Interesting change in the play here at the start of this second round, with Amankul coming forward, looking to press the action. And this is quite an aggressive start to the round from him. He's doing it intelligently, though.
Nice left hand to the body there from Jafarov, who's just keeping this a little bit more on the outside. And then again, as he throws that left hand, that is a technical flaw that he does have. He comes over the top of that front foot, loses that balance as he throws that left, but if he follows it in onto the shoulder, then it kind of minimises the damage. Set his feet nicely there and threw a left to the body, then a left up top. Again, the physicality of him is pretty extraordinary, Jafarov, isn't it? Look at those shoulders.
Yeah, and the arms as well. Very, very long arms. You feel these are assets to him, and he's still quite young as well. I think Andy's implying that, you know, light heavyweight probably beckons sooner rather than later for the man in red. He's maybe just quelled Amankul through the first minute and a half here. I was really interested by the way Amankul came out, thrown the right hand to the body, slightly under the high guard as well, pressing the action. He's not been as effective as I thought he might be.
No, he's looking for a way in, isn't he? But he hasn't really found one just yet. And whilst he's been looking, Jafarov has been doing some fairly effective punching. Decent left hand there from him again. But there's a nice 1-2 there from Amankul, and the referee steps in with a standing count there, and he doesn't like that too much, Jafarov. But as I reminded you earlier on, if you have a standing count given against you, that will not necessarily result in you losing the round 10-8. Not at all. It's all about interpreting dominance for the 5 ringside judges, and they will make up their own mind as to whether.
Aziz va qadrli obunachilar, hozir mana Muzaffarjon yozyaptilar, nega qotib qolyapti deb. Shu qotyaptim, qotmayaptim, shuni kommentariyaga yozib qoldiringlar, shunga qarab men to'g'rilayman. Do'stlar, agarda siz yangi kirib kelgan bo'lsangiz, bitta like-ni bangillatib bosib tashlaylar.
Yeah, you wonder about that, don't you? Whether the judges will trust the referee. I suppose the one thing I should have mentioned as well is how effective, when he came out at the start of the round, Amankul, how effective, when he was pressing the action, how effective actually was he orthodox compared to when he's in the southpaw stance. That's another thing we'll bear in mind. You see, he's switched back. He seems to be having more success southpaw to my eye, and there he goes once again, landing another shot.
I would agree with that. I think he's definitely been more effective as a southpaw. And it's an interesting round, this one. As I said, the standing count there issued by the referee, but the way that Aiba boxing is scored, that's not necessarily
Akalar, hali janglar juda ko'p bo'ladi Azizbek aka. Hozir mana aytib o'taman, hozir mana Saidjamshid Jafarov ringga ko'tarilgan, Dilshodbek Ro'zimetovning jangi bo'ladi, Bahodir Jalolovning jangi bo'ladi. Hali qiziq janglar oldinda do'stlar. Bitta like'larni bosib sizlar bangillatib tursanglar bo'ldi. Like nimani kommentariyaga o'zingiz qoldirib qo'ysangiz, qo'llab-quvvatlab tursanglar zo'r bo'ladi. Xudo xolasa hammasini promo efir olib berishga harakat qilaman sizlarga.
Yeah, it was a really good bit of work from the man call. The gum shield came out, and the referee steps in with the standing count. I didn't make him wrong to do it. He made the decision nice and quick too. Just digging his toes in and looking to lead off with the right uppercut there. Jafarov, who has done some decent work in that second round, is doing some decent work at the start of this round as well. The kind of dynamic of
Begzod, yaxshimisan?
a man calls the boss. When you look at it, he's the one who seems to be dictating terms, but it's about who lands what. And that balancing act in the second round wouldn't have been all that easy for the judges, because his work in that final minute, as you said, it was more authoritative, wasn't it? He put more of a stamp on things, whereas Jafarov was more of a kind of heavy-handed cat burglar. He's in, throws a couple, gets back out again, and it's a similar kind of rhythm and theme to this third round so far. Nice left hand on the inside there from Jafarov. This has been a good fight, and I think we're going to have a very entertaining finish here too.
Indeed. He's picking some shots nicely. There's too much aggression from Amankul in this round, and that was rather uncalled for. That was a wrestling move from Jafarov. I'm pretty sure he picked him up by the feet there, and he had to dip down to do it. I'm not quite sure what all of that was about, but there's been a bullying style about the way that Amankul has gone about this, and that's at the expense of his boxing on occasion. I think too much so. I'm enjoying his attitude, and it really is getting slightly out of hand here, Andy, in spells.
Do'stlar, qani bokschilarimizni qo'llab-quvvatlab turamiz. Cho'ta ham sussizlar, kommentariyaga olg'a deb yozib turamiz va layklarni bosib turamiz. Nimagadir sus biza. Bu Dubay shahridagi Osiyo chempionati bo'lmoqda, final jang bular.
Almost scooped Amankul up behind the knees there and dumped him on his back. The referee, I think, was blindsided a bit, didn't really see it into the final minute. And again, we've got a very similar third round to the second round. The fighter throwing more and landing a decent amount is Jafarov, and Amankul looking to be more aggressive into this final minute towards the end of the round. But he's taken some risks here, Amankul, I think, by just not letting his hands go enough. That's a good jab followed by a left hand there. They both need to try and find a strong finish here.
Landed 3 big punches there, Amankul, in that exchange. It is the same story, as you say, as the previous round. Not quite as effective, Amankul, as he had done in the previous round, but he's landed some telling shots right at the end of it. That was fiercely competitive.
It was a great third and final round.
Do'stlar, Dubay shahridagi Osiyo chempionatining 5-jangimiz ham o'z nihoyasiga yetib bormoqda. Do'stlar, hozirda bizda 3 ta oltin medalni qo'lga kiritganmiz. Hozir endi Jasurbek ham oltin medalni oladi degan umiddamiz. Sudyalarni javobini kutamiz, do'stlar.
The winner by split decision in the red corner, representing Uzbekistan.
Malades. G'alaba muborak do'stlar barchaga. Akalar, endi Dilshodbek Ro'zimetov ringga ko'tariladi. Bundan keyin esa Bahodir Jalolov ringga ko'tariladi, do'stlar. Hali janglar juda ham oldinda. Jangni qanday o'tkazib yormay ko'rsak bo'ladi. Har bitta jangni demoqchi bo'lsanglar, bitta podpiska degan tugma bor. Qizil o'shani bosib, qo'ng'iroqchani bosib qo'ysanglar, har bitta boylarni siz jonli efirda ko'rishingiz mumkin bo'ladi, do'stlar. Bahodir Jalolovning raqibi Kamshanbek Kanabayev bilan qozog'istonlik bokschi bilan jang qiladi. Kamshanbek Kanabayev ekan. Do'stlar, hozir Dilshodbek Ro'zimetov Meysam Geshlagi bilan ringga ko'tariladi, Eron bilan. Bahodir Jalolov 3 ta jangdan keyin ringga ko'tariladi. Hozir Dilshodbek Ro'zimetov ko'tariladi, keyin yana 2 ta boshqa bir bokschi tushadi. Keyingisi esa Bahodir Jalolov bo'ladi. Uni ham jangni jonli efirda olib beramiz do'stlar sizlarga.
Two young men for this light heavyweight division, and Andy, I'm really looking forward to this one once again.
Absolutely. Geshlagi, well, what a performance to get this far, to get to the final. As you outlined there, he's not a very experienced fighter. He looks nice and relaxed in that corner. It'll be very interesting to see how he goes about this. He maybe wouldn't have expected to get this far. Who knows, maybe he did expect to get this far, but now he's here. He looks to me like he's going to produce a performance here, because he doesn't look tight, he doesn't look tense.
And you can see he's got the slight height and reach advantage, trying to get behind his boxing early on from that southpaw stance. Is Rusmatov, who's the number 2 seed coming into this. Geshlagi took out the number 1 seed, as I said, in the quarter-final. That was a fantastic result for him. One of the surprise packages, but just picked off there by a left hand to the chest from Rusmatov. Spins him off once again. And Rusmatov is got off to quite a sharp start here. He's got behind his boxing. I think most importantly, he's got the distance quite early on, Rusmatov.
He landed a nice lead left hook early on, Geshlagi. He's gone for it 2 or 3 more times since then, and I think Rusmatov has got wise to it.
That might be key there from Geshlagi's shot. When he does manage to close the distance, he's got to let his hands go, and there was a really sharp 1-2 again. He missed with the first couple of punches, but got through with the right hand, and he has to bank on that, play the percentages. Getting close is the first part of the game for Geshlagi. Second part is once you're there, let your hands go, and he's...
Akalar, Oybek akamiz xira bo'lib qoldi deb kommentariyaga yozibdilar. Xirami, xiramasmi, shuni ham yozib boringlar.
Just showing us some head movement there. What you often find with fighters is that they move that head when they're out of range and then stop moving it when they move into range. It's a strange thing sometimes, but he gets up close there, maybe a bit too close. Good feet there from Rusmatov.
He looks like he's got the power to give himself a chance when he does get close. He's quite explosive. A few times from that angle with the camera behind, you've seen the head of Rusmatov definitely moving backwards a couple of times. Well, it was a really good first minute from Rusmatov. Geshlagi's made things a little more uncomfortable. He's managing to get close. He's having to work hard to do it, but he's giving himself a chance.
It's a nice right hand off the back foot there from Rusmatov, just as he was moving away to his right as well.
Backed into a corner there, Rusmatov, and that's probably exactly where he doesn't want to be. Oh, lovely. That was quality, wasn't it? Although he was in a corner, he managed to box off the back foot, clipped Gishlagi with a couple of right hooks as well, scoring punches again. And a good end as well as a good start to the round for Rusmatov.
It's a skillful southpaw, isn't he, the fighter we're looking at.
Do'stlar, kommentariyaga yozibsizlar, yaxshiroq tanishtirib yuboring deb. Dilshodbek Ro'zmetov Meysam Geshlagiga, eronlik bokschiga qarshi ringga ko'tarilgan. Bundan keyin esa Bahodir Jalolov ringga ko'tariladi. Uni ham jangini jonli efirda olib berishga harakat qilamiz. Do'stlar, sizlardan faqatgina bitta like bosib qo'yamiz. Kommentariyaga yozyapsizlar, nima uchun ko'p like so'raysiz. Like bosmaganingizdan keyin like so'raymiz-da, shuning uchun bitta like bosib qo'ysangiz, men umuman like so'ramayman sizdan.
When it does get up close, then that is where Gishlagi's got to really work. Nice short right hand to the body from him.
You just see Rusmatov just always with that lead right hand just held out. That's the measuring stick for him. He doesn't ever want to let Geshlagi inside that.
Goes in the gap. That's a huge left hand there from Geshlagi. Oh, he's getting close. That was a huge shot from him.
Absolutely, really climbed into that one. Got inside that lead hand as I was describing, set his feet and really let that go. He's got some power, like he said, that explosivity, that core rotation. He can whack a bit with those hooks coming in from either side. It doesn't seem to really matter which hand. I think his left is probably stronger. I wonder whether he's a left-handed orthodox fighter, actually, the way he looks for that left hand as often as he does.
A couple of body shots there. Some power punches being thrown in. He's letting it all hang out here, Gishlagi. I'll tell you what, Rusmatov did well to take that big shot as well as he did. Just a little feint there too from Gishlagi, so you know there was a feeling throughout the second round that plenty of effort, maybe not quite as much kind of thought or technique, but actually just a little feint there. You see almost pretending to throw shots and not quite. He's put a lot into this, but he's getting a little bit of rewards, Gishlagi, and again picked off a couple of times though, Andy, on the way in. Exciting.
It's a good fight into this second round, really is. His confidence has picked up here, hasn't it, Geshlagi? You can tell that because, as you say, he's just moving his head a little bit more on the way in. He's throwing the odd feint, just trying to open Rusmatov up. He is getting picked up on the way in at times, but he's landed some decent punches himself. That pressure's just been a bit more educated, hasn't it?
Yes. The feints almost showing to throw punches and not quite committing to them. Then when he does, he's exploding into the shots and he's letting his hands go. He's rattling them off in twos and threes. It's not always pretty, but plenty effective, Gishlagi, in this round. He's put an awful lot into it. He's been picked off a couple of times, noticeably, but I think on balance, and particularly those short body shots when they're in close.
Hozircha do'stlar 4 ta oltin medali bo'ldi. Hozir yutqazganlardan Mirazbek Mirzahalilov yutqazib qo'ydi xolos do'stlar. Endi Dilshodbek Ro'zmetov ham yutsa 5 ta oltin bo'ladi. Keyin Bahodir Jalolovga navbat. Osiyo chempionati haqida qisqacha ma'lumot berib o'tsam, Nodirjon Mirzahamidov, Shahobiddin Zoirov, Mirazizbek Mirzahalilov, Bobosmon Baturov, Said Jamshid Jafarovlar ringga ko'tarildi. Mana hozir esa Dilshodbek Ro'zimetov ringga ko'tarilgan do'stlar.
Here we go then, 3 more minutes to determine the gold medal winner in this light heavyweight division. First time actually the referee there and through the first 20 seconds had to call break. They were kind of working it out themselves, which is good. There you see Rusmatov leading off with the left hand first before the attack comes. Nice body shot from him too.
You get the feeling with Rusmatov, he either needs to be all the way out or all the way in. On the outside, he can try and maintain that distance and use that superior height and reach. A little bit of smear of blood on the left eyebrow there, I think, of Geshlagi. So either he wants to be there or he wants to be right up close and just wrapping him up.
He did a good job of both there. Just a smear on the left-hand side of the left eye. I think that looks fine for now. Just a slight nick. Nice shot, 1-2 there off the break from Rusmatov too. Oh, and a body shot. Swiped in from the left side from Rusmatov. He just quelled the attack here of Geshlagi. I think that's more, Andy, because he's getting off first. He's kind of stopping the attack even before it begins, and that's it. Do you meet him as he's coming in, then move? There's the danger if you do that you miss, and you're there to be countered. Here he's choosing to get off first, then move. Get off first, then move, and he's making it look more straightforward in doing so.
Akalar, kachestvani to'g'rilab oling degan ekansizlar. Bu yerda maksimalniy kachestvada turibdi. O'zlaringdan 3 ta nuqtani bosib, kachestva degan joy bor. O'shanga kirib, visokaga qo'yib qo'ysanglar, yaxshi ko'rsatadi.
But particularly this third round, as you say, every now and again, Rusmatov just throws that single shot and either moves or moves straight in and looks to tie him up.
Yeah, it's punch, then hold. Punch, then hold, which worked for a pretty good heavyweight a few years ago, but I suppose as they tire and as they come close together, it's exactly the right thing to do from Rusmatov. And he's putting it all together here, one way or another. He's got the right sort of balance with his tactics and just nullifying Geshlagi, who's, you know, whether I think it's more the tactics of Rusmatov rather than Geshlagi running out of steam in this third round.
I totally agree. He's brought the heat again here, Geshlagi, exactly the same as he did in round 1, exactly the same as he did in round 2. It's just that in this third round, Rusmatov has had a little bit of a think about it and come up with...
275 ta akalarimiz like bosgan. Qo'llaring dard ko'rmasin akalar, like bosganlaring uchun kattakon rahmat. Qolganlar ham bitta like bosib olsa, juda ham zo'r bo'lardi akalar.
But the bell is upon us.
Yes, any second now, and just a couple of scars. Oh, that's a lovely short left hand there.
Odilxon aka bundan keyin esa Bahodir Jalolov ringga ko'tariladi.
Intense pressure that he faced in the second round. The fight seemingly in the balance. This has been the response of a champion from Rusmatov. And just a strange moment approaching the end where Geshlagi was spun round, both froze temporarily.
3 raund ham o'z nihoyasiga yetdi do'stlar. Endi bir nafar bokschimiz qoldi. Bu esa Bahodir Jalolov do'stlar. Buni ham jangni jonli efirda namoyish etishga harakat qilamiz do'stlar. Hozir agar Dilshodbek Ro'zimetov oltin medalni qo'lga kiritsa, unda xohlasa bizda 5 ta oltin medali bo'ladi.
Ladies position in the blue corner.
Malades Dilshodbek. Malades. Barchaga g'alaba muborak do'stlar. Mana 5-oltin medalni ham qo'lga kiritdik do'stlar. Barchaga g'alaba muborak bo'lsin deyman do'stlar. Bitta like bosib qo'yib qo'llab-quvvatlaymiz do'stlar bokschilarimizni va kommentariyaga o'z izohingizni qoldiramiz. Bizdan uzoqlashmanglar, tez orada do'stlar Bahodir Jalolovning jangini ham jonli efirda namoyish etishga harakat qilamiz do'stlar. Faqatgina 5 minut 10 minut pererif bo'ladi. Ikkita boy bor. Ikkita boy tugagandan keyin Bahodir Jalolovning jangi boshlanadi. Unda ham biz promo efir olib berishga harakat qilamiz do'stlar. Sizlardan faqat bitta like bosib qo'llab-quvvatlab turish akalar.